What's going on, my friends? It's your boy. It is your boy, Brother Dave, Uncle Dave. Okay, I'm in the house. Pilot Dave. I'm going to be flying this ship today to places you never knew were possible. And I'm going to do it with my co host here, Miss Georgia. She's coming all the way from Australia. And my friends, it is officially 12:03 in Australia. So she gave me a big old wake up legendary good morning because it is officially AM there. Georgia, welcome to the show.
Good morning, Dave. Thank you so much for having me.
It's my pleasure.
I'm super excited to be here.
Thank you for staying up late and being willing to, I would assume stay up past your bedtime to join me.
I actually did go to bed for a couple of hours and got back up.
Oh, it literally is morning for you. I mean, you are waking
up. Yeah. Yes, definitely.
Well, I love it. Tell us, you're coming all the way from down under, put another shrimp on the barbie, they say. I don't know if they actually say that. That's just something that silly old American here heard in a movie. So
yeah, I think we actually say it more now since it was made a joke than it was ever said before.
Yeah, I know. One thing that is really interesting about Australia that I think is crazy is how strong kangaroos really are.
Oh, yeah, they are. They're very, very strong, and they can be dangerous.
Without a doubt. I mean, I've seen kangaroos who are completely shredded. I mean, literally shredded.
Yeah, they are. They're ripped. They are ripped.
They
are strong. There's lots of kangaroos where I live.
Oh my gosh. So you actually see them out and about?
Every day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, tell us.
It's awesome. Like hundreds.
Oh my gosh. That is crazy. That's amazing. Yeah. See, it's like something that you're totally used to would be amazing for us Americans to see because we never see that. And that's why it's so needed that we have the freedom and the resources to be able to travel the world and see these different things. Now, we titled this show today, Break the Paycheck to Paycheck Cycle. Australian single mom, not mom, builds successful online business. So we're going to talk about breaking that paycheck to paycheck cycle today. But first, before we get into that, and well, you can talk about whatever the hell you want because you're the star of the show today. Tell us how you found us. What were you looking for? Do you feel like you found it?
Yes, I do. I absolutely do feel like I found it. It all started for me from my 13-year-old son. He's like, Mom, you need to learn to make money online. He's like, there's kids making thousands of dollars online, on YouTube, on this, on that. He's like, you need to learn how to do it. He's like, I want to learn how to do it. Aww. So I actually just started by indulging him, really. He was, always sending me videos about, drop shipping or crypto or I don't know, and I was always like, oh, Harry, like, no, I never felt comfortable with anything. And I guess, as the apps work, that, we talk about it, we sort of search for things, the algorithm kicks in and I started seeing some videos from somebody else and something about it just resonated with me. I felt secure and trusting, and I was like, this makes sense to me. It feels legit. And I probably watched those videos for 2 or 3 months. And I was always talking to Harry. I was like, yeah, we got to watch more of this. We got to watch more of this. And then I think just after Christmas, New Year, I was sort of at my point where I was like, right, we need to do something. And I actually bought the challenge for us to do together so that he could start something online.
My heart is melting.
So that Harry could actually start his own thing to start making his own money online, not me. And that all changed very quickly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Georgia, this is such a sweet story. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So say more. Don't stop talking. Tell us what happened next.
Well, so I yeah, so I was still indulging him. We'd been away on holiday. We'd started listening to like recordings in the car when we were driving back. It was about an 8-hour drive. But yeah, we just started listening to different things, and then I'd sort of had a few. I think it's the same for everybody. Kind of like, oh, when will I get into it? I'm not exactly sure when we started, but I sat down and I was like, right, day one, let's sit down. So we sat down together with my computer, watched it, and I was sitting there watching the video, and I was like, this makes sense. Like what you were saying, the information, like it was just so clear and concise, and it was logical. And I was like, okay, we might be onto something here. And so I checked off day one, and I did the bits and bobs and filled out the quiz or whatever it was. And then, day two came around, and I was like, Harry, come on, we've got to go do the thing. And I think by day 4 or 5, like Harry was like, Mum's taken over. And then all of a sudden I was doing it, and Harry was like, oh, all right, I'll come watch the video. But no, I was on board. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
is so, God bless Harry. What a
Yeah.
kid.
Yeah, he's a legend. I always call him a legend, actually. He's a little legend.
I am blown away by that and just your journey with your son here, that what you just said was so, oh my God. That is so sweet and just
Yeah.
lovely, and just what an
Yeah.
amazing experience with him. I mean, even just that alone, just the fact that you are listening to him and open to his ideas and suggestions, and just the
Yeah.
fact that, I mean, how validating and loving and just absolutely self-esteem building, and just acknowledging of your son to just be open to his, they, a lot of times we're always looking for a burning bush, right, my friends, to
Yeah.
hear God or the universe or whatever you believe in. And man, isn't it so true that so often God, the universe, again, whatever you believe in, speaks to us through people, and even
Absolutely.
through our little people, our
Yeah.
children, and in
Yeah.
this case, your 13-year-old son. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not to get all woo-woo about it.
No, yeah.
That moved me, and that's powerful.
It actually was really cool. He is a little entrepreneur. He's got a little entrepreneurial brain, and he's always thinking of a little way to make money. He's got his own little bin round in our streets, where he takes out people's bins for money. And he's been doing that since he was about 7 or 8. And he's always thinking of like the next, what if we try this? And what if we try that? And I was just like, look, Harry, I'm stuck, and absolutely, let's give something a try. And then as soon as I started day one of the challenge, I got excited and got really really excited to just keep going with it. So, and he has been my biggest supporter. Like, he still is. He's so pumped about tonight, like me being on here, but I made him stay in bed.
Harry, if you're watching this, buddy, we are so proud of you. If you end up watching the replay, wow, you are an amazing young man. Amazing. You keep thinking and dreaming and sending mom ideas and working hard, because
he's got plenty of ideas.
Wow.
They're not all good.
Well, I was a troublemaker when I was a young kid as well, and sometimes we get smart kids, they get bored, they get
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like they're looking to be challenged, and
absolutely 100%.
So often
He's a smart kid.
we label our children as bad behaving, or all these different kind of all these different labels and all these different diagnoses, and like, maybe the kid's just bored. Maybe he's just wants to be challenged. I can remember when I was in
100%.
school, I was bored. I was looking for challenge. I was looking for competition. I was looking
Yeah.
to be stretched and pushed back on, and so I ended up seeking that in places that maybe weren't so healthy. But my parents did the best they could with what they had. It's just that recognizing our children's greatness and being able to see through their behavior to the
Mm,
person that's inside and what they're actually
yeah.
asking for and looking for is such a powerful
Yeah.
gift. And you clearly have that. God bless you for that. Really.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we're very, very close. It's been Harry and I, since just the two of us, since he was 2. And I actually feel really grateful for it. It's just us, me and him. He's my best little bud. Like, we've been through thick and thin together. And yeah, I do in some ways feel really lucky that we've had the experience that we've had because of what we've built together.
Mhm.
Yeah, so yeah, he is a great kid and he will do great things. And he's my number one little supporter, and same goes. So yeah, he's a
Mhm.
little legend for sure.
Well, what you're saying here is you've turned your mess into a message.
Mm,
This is what you have done. You have turned your struggles into your strengths. I'm sure it was a difficult situation around that age of 2, whatever was going on in your personal life. But now look at where you are and how you have turned that struggle into
absolutely.
such a beautiful, powerful story. You're now sitting here. He's 13 years old. It's 11 years later,
Yeah.
and he is clearly an amazing young man who's thinking bigger. He's thinking about his future. He's thinking about you. He's responding to challenges around him. You
Yeah.
were honest and said, "Hey, I'm struggling." Talk a little bit about what that struggle has looked like for you, the paycheck to paycheck living, and why
Yeah.
you came open to this when maybe in the past you may not have been.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing for me is I've always struggled paycheck to paycheck, so to speak. I've struggled with health related issues since quite a young age, and you talk a lot about, like, you know spending time working for a paycheck. Is with the limited capability that I had of the time to put into something, like I was just never ever going to get ahead. And I've done lots of great things, had jobs that I've loved. I love working, but I could never swap enough time for enough money to just get ahead of that 8 ball. And over the years, yeah, I've always been very good with money at the same time, in managing it, budgeting it, all that sort of stuff. And I have, made a good life for ourselves based on that. But I think Harry's getting older. They get more expensive as they get older. He's already 5'11". He's got a size 13 foot. Like, he's big. Yeah. It's like,
This kid's a monster, man. This kid's an
he
animal.
is. He is. And I was just like, and then he started high school, and I was like, he plays sport, and I was like, I can't afford all these things anymore. Like, it was just getting really, really hard and really difficult. And I was also working, more hours that probably were sustainable for me and my health. And I was getting more depressed and more stressed and more fatigued and just more struggle. And I just really got sick of saying no to him all the time.
Yeah,
He'd be like, "Mom, can I do this?" And "Mom, can we try that?" Or can we? And I was always saying no, because I was like, no, like, I don't have the spare money to do these things.
right.
And I guess there's always been a part of me that has always sort of looked for another way.
Yeah.
And I have dabbled in a few things, nothing online, but sort of things that gave me flexibility to kind of work my own hours. But since the pandemic, I lost my job during the pandemic, and then I ended up working for a friend's company, and I did most of that work online from home.
Mm,
So it just opened up this world of opportunity. If it's like, well, if I'm spending all this time working online from home for someone else's business,
yeah.
there might be that possibility out there that I could work online from home for my own business.
Yeah.
And yeah, I really did just get to a point where I just didn't want to say no to Harry anymore. I just knew that if I didn't make a change, if I didn't do something different, that this was only going to get harder. And I was just going to be stuck in this cycle forever. And
Yeah.
I didn't want that for either of us,
Yeah.
So
Madison.
yeah, I love that saying, like, if nothing changes, nothing changes.
Yeah.
And I just knew that if I didn't try something different, that I was just going to be doing this in 5 years, 10 years, this struggle, 15 years. I'm sure Harry would have gone off and made a little entrepreneur of himself and taken care of his mum, but that's not the point. And I want to give him the best possible life and the best life that we can have together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very clear, very understandable. Madison said, I totally feel you for always saying no. That's That's me currently, and I'm so tired of it. My babies are my reason why.
100%.
Lena says, always saying no, but didn't know where to turn.
Me neither, Lena. That's exactly how I felt.
Yeah. Jen said, your story hits home. I have a couple little ride or dies, and it's just me and them. Has been for years. I'm ready to not struggle for them, all caps. Thank you for sharing this morning, Night. And, I think that this is hitting home. Kaylin, I resonate with being a single mom and my oldest son being my youngest kid. It was just us until he was 7. You brought me to tears. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you, Kaylin.
Elisa says, I hate saying no to things my kids want to do just because I don't have the money. I totally understand where you are coming from. This is really hitting home to a lot of people. The comments are flooding in because
it's making me cry.
Our kids are our why, whether we are working a job or whether we are building a business. Our kids are still our why. It doesn't mean that, I'm starting a business now. My kids are suddenly now my why. No, they've always been our why. And it feels so frustrating to, as you said, work so hard, trade so many hours for dollars, and still not be able to make ends meet. There's a lot of shame that comes along with that. There's a lot of, guilt. There's a lot of, I think, chipping away of our self-esteem as we get older. And that's why I think it's so important right now, especially having come out of this pandemic. And as you said, you got a little bit of clarity and realization that, hey, hold on a second, I can work from home. I am working from home. I'm working. Yeah. Hold on a second. Let me begin to, and that was a couple of years ago. It's still taken you because people don't know where to turn. They don't know where to start. And it just so happens that so many of us were scrolling on TikTok or whatever and came across the video. What was that like for you? Take us back to getting started with the challenge. And I think you, if I'm not mistaken, you've kind of gone all in here.
Yes.
With your education and enrolling in the blueprints. You went from skeptical and struggling mom to completely all in. And you've even got an audience that you're building, and you've got a lot of tips to share and experience to share now with us in that regard. So, talk us through that education as you were going through the challenge and maybe, I don't know, you tell me, for the first time ever starting to invest in you and invest in your skills. Talk to us about what that was like and what that felt like and some of the fears that came up, but also how you overcame them. What did you tell yourself?
Well, I think, I had watched videos for a little while, and so it really does help, kind of like primes you, that preparation for building that confidence to move forward with something. And when I started the challenge, and I went through day 1, and then we went through, I think, day 2 or day 3, we went through building the sales funnel, and I was like, I can build a sales funnel, like that looks fun, I want to do that. And then, I think day 4, and I had my business advisor meeting, and I was just like, for me, like, I have a very logical brain. I was always very academic at school. I did really well at university. I've always been good at whatever I've done or whatever I've tried because I'm a bit of a perfectionist. I like to understand how things work. And I'm interested in a very wide range of topics. So I was watching the education, the videos, and I just couldn't, in my brain, I was like, this is all logical to me. This all makes sense. It really opened my eyes to, you know, that it was all around us all the time. Like all of a sudden I was like, oh my gosh, that's what Dave's talking about. That's what Dave's talking about. I'm in so many sales funnels that I didn't even know, you know, like. I can't hear you.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to throw my hat in silence there, you know, I mean, because I like talking to myself. But yeah, you realize that, holy crap, this affiliate marketing thing that, you know, people are selling courses, coaching, events, but particularly even just affiliate marketing is happening all over the internet right in front of your eyes. And you're currently in sales funnels and on email list already, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I am. Like blogs. I just didn't know that all those links in blogs were affiliate links. And then I just started seeing it everywhere. And it just really hit home for me, resonated really well. When it came time to like go all in, I had a little bit of savings. I had to borrow a little bit of money, but I had this feeling in my gut that was like, you have to take this chance. Like if you don't, nothing changes if nothing changes. And this is something that you can see, like you can see that it works. You've been watching, you know, somebody else who's, you know, having great success. And like, you know, for me, it wasn't about, you know, making all the money in the world. It was just about making more than what I was, you know, just getting that little bit ahead. And I knew that going all in for me was the right thing to do because it meant that if I committed doing that, then I had to commit to myself to do the work. Getting the education was the best thing, but not just because of the education. It was like, well, I've gone all in now. Like I need to show up and I need to make this money back. I need to, you know, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it properly. If I had have left it, I think just at the challenge, I probably would have, you know, flitted around, played around, dilly-dallied, and who knows what would have happened. But making that commitment to go all in was actually making a commitment to myself to be like, right, you have to do this now because this is the choice you've made. And it was the best thing. Making that choice was the best choice because I absolutely had to make the money back.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
Isn't that how it always works in life? If you don't pay, you don't pay attention. I mean, it's just that simple.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's simple. I mean, if you don't pay, you don't pay attention. I mean, the things that we pay a lot of money for, you know, we
you look after them.
Oh my God, we keep them so nice and we keep them so taken care of. And you know, think about your career. You know, for so many of us, many of you spent tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars on education, and you got that certificate, and you're like, by God, I'm going to go get a job. You know, I'm going to go spend the rest of my life working for somebody and pay these student loans off and everything because I just paid $100,000 for this degree or whatever it was. But even if it's down to the very smallest piece of jewelry or shoes or purse or whatever it is, your brand new car, you pay for it. I mean, if you'd have just got that car for free, let's take this thing off road, man. You know, let's get this.
Don't value it. Yeah.
Exactly. I think that accountability that we give ourselves when we just put some skin in the game. The other thing is that you really can't get coached and grow sitting on the sidelines. I've mentioned this. I even mentioned it yesterday. And so, you know, so many people want to get coached on how to get started. They're like, I'm just confused. I just don't know how to get started. I'm so lost. And it's like, well, you want your cake and you want to eat it too. You don't want to put any skin in the game. You don't want to be a student. You don't want to learn. You don't want to be new at anything, but you want to tell the world that you're lost and struggling. And that's exactly where you're going to stay. That's where you're going to stay.
100%.
You know, So there's a lot of power and logic in what you just said, and I love that you brought that up because it boils really down to if you don't pay, you don't pay attention. And so now it's time for you to get started. Okay, I believe you took the challenge in January, right? And
Yeah.
finally got kind of launched. In what does launch mean to you? Does that mean that you published your first piece of marketing content online? And when did you do that?
Yes. I took the challenge in January, but I kind of did like bit by bit by bit. I think I got the education in March, and then I sat down and I was really like, I'm a real step-by-step person. It's a process. I like to understand each step. I like to know what I'm doing. I even built my own funnels instead of doing the done for you funnels, which are awesome. But I wanted to understand how to do that. That was a big thing for me. So then I started. I'd never had TikTok ever, never been on TikTok. And I think I posted my first content on TikTok sometime towards the end of April or the start of May. And at first, it's the same for everybody. It's slow. It's, you're learning. I like, as I said, I'd never even had a TikTok account. I didn't know what it was about. I didn't know how it worked. Harry's like, you need to do this and you need to do that. And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. And then I think about 4 or 5 weeks into my TikTok, one of my videos went viral and I just blew up. And it because I just kept doing it. I knew, like, we talk about consistency and putting in the effort and staying consistent. And I was like, this is going to pay off. This is going to pay off. And I just did the things. And as I went, I learned everything as I went. Like, what other opportunity do you get to start earning as you're learning and start putting everything into action as you're going? It's like, if you want to be a doctor and, go to uni for 8 years, you can't start practicing until you're finished, And it's but nobody would bat an eyelid.
That's why they call it practice, his doctor's practice. Even after a doctor opens a practice, a business, it's called a practice for a reason. Because sometimes, believe it or not, folks, doctors mess up. Doctors have surgeons have patients die on their operating table. It's not always a guaranteed fix or outcome. No. And it's as sad and tragic as that is, this requires nothing even remotely close to that. You're not going to lose your life, and nobody else is going to lose their life if you put a video on TikTok and it bombs, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If it bombs, nobody cares. If it bombs, it just disappears into the internet ether or something. I don't know. But, and what I started seeing from people were that, people started messaging me and telling me that my story was inspiring and that, they were really enjoying the content that I was sharing. And for me, I was just learning what I was doing. I was sort of fumbling around learning, and people were really enjoying it. And I was like, oh, okay. And very quickly as time went on, I just got better. And even now, I'm still learning every day. Like, every day I learn something new. I'm trying now to grow my Instagram account, which is a whole different ballgame. And now I'm trying to so I wasn't able to do both at once. I was like, TikTok first, then start to try and build my Instagram. And, then I'll move on to the next thing and the next thing as I get more adept at each part. But the feedback that I'm getting has been really great. And I've looked to other people for motivation and inspiration. I watch Wake Up Legendary. I listen to it when I walk in the mornings, because I'm motivated and inspired by everybody else. And now I'm here. Like, I'm like, but I do this, It's
come on now. I mean, talk about it. It's like, hello, speaking things into existence, believing things into existence. We can't just show up on day one and be like, why am I not rich? It's like, I love you talking about the investment of listening and learning, and now you're here. Holy shit, Bob.
I know. I listen to different episodes. I walk in the morning, put my headphones on, and I listen to $1 Million Mindset, and I listen to a Wake Up Legendary, and I'm always like, all of these people, they went through the same stuff that I've been through and the same stuff I'm going through. And it's a process and it takes time. Nothing happens overnight. If I started a brick and mortar business, I wouldn't be this far down the line, and it's like with a much greater investment, the kind of investment that you have to put into something like that is phenomenal. Whereas this is something, the investment is small, really, and you can start working on it right away. You can start earning money right away. And that's not what it's all about. It's a lot of it's been about empowerment for me. Everything has changed for me, from my confidence to, the way I, see money now, like, that scarcity mindset, the fear of not having enough, all that. Like, I have an abundance mindset now. I'm not worried that there won't be enough. I will figure it out. I've got skills now that I can utilize in my own time to find a way, Yeah.
And that's a very common thing. I would say 99.9% of people have a dysfunctional relationship with money. Why? Because, for God's sakes, I don't know about you, but I wasn't even taught how to balance a checkbook. And I talked about this yesterday. As soon as we're 18, they start hitting us with credit card applications, at least here in the United States.
They do here too. Yeah.
And of course, you're also sort of peer pressured to go to college and take on hundreds of thousands, at least tens of thousands of dollars worth of debt, which here in America is the only debt that's unforgiven, not forgivable in a bankruptcy. And it's like, so you kind of start your life off in debt. You start your life off, below zero. And it's like you spend the rest of your life trying to catch up. And the majority of people's number one financial goal is to pay off debt. There's a problem with our number one goal as human beings is to get back to zero.
Yeah, it's awful. It doesn't make sense. It's backwards.
No, it doesn't. And we are, in a way, preyed upon. A lot of people look at this and they come to Legendary and they get on our community and they say, I'm going to do is this a scam? Is this we're so hesitant. We're so protective of things that, for example, we're telling people on every page of our website, if you're not willing to take risks, do not buy our products.
Absolutely.
Here every single day on Wake Up Legendary, we could be shoving success stories and numbers down people's throats, but we're not even mentioning numbers because we want to be so careful as to not give people the wrong impression. But if you look at colleges, advertising and commercials, they're advertising, get $100,000 job, make six figures after. And of course, you're primed and groomed your entire life.
Yes, absolutely.
One thing only: to be a good little boy or good little girl, to go to school, to get good grades. So you can do one of two things. You can either get a scholarship and go to college and play sports and then maybe be rich because you went and became professional. Or number two, you can get an academic scholarship, or sorry if one of those two didn't work out for you, because it's time to pay that sucker. And if you ain't a parent who's going to pay it for you, well, it's time to get something we love to call student loans.
Yes.
Student loans.
Absolutely.
Yes, you can go to college, little Johnny. You can take out something called a student loan. No problem. That's going to be $50,000 to $100,000. You are going to pay off for the rest of your life. Okay. And oh, by the way, while you're going to college, this is the plan that society has for us. Now, if you went to college, I'm not putting you down. You did something great. You did something honorable. You followed the plan. But oh, by the way, as you're going to college and you're taking on this debt, and that's going to be 4 years. An associate's degree doesn't get you anywhere anymore. So you need to go at least 4 years.
Absolutely.
And a bachelor's degree isn't much to shake a stick at. Nowadays, they want a master's degree to be in most, companies to even get looked at. So as you're going to school for 6 years, just go ahead and take out some credit cards so you can pay for things like food and you can pay for your books as you're going into more debt, sitting in a classroom with absolutely no opportunity to make money while you're in that classroom, unless you want to go get a job. And for many of you who are going to choose something like becoming a mental health counselor or other professions in the medical field, you're going to need to go do an internship for 2 years where you're basically going to have to volunteer your time and not get paid for the work that you do. So that's going to be more credit card. My friends, I need more hats. The system is broken, friends.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I do say to people, yeah, sorry, Dave, let me cut you off.
Oh, go ahead. I'm done.
I do say to people who, no, I loved it. I loved it because I get like that. People say to me, oh, you're just trying to sell a course or something. And I'm like, if I said to my friends and family, I'm going to go back to university to become a doctor, which, don't get me wrong, is obviously a very noble, wonderful thing to do. It's going to take me 8 years, over $100,000. I'm not going to be able to earn an income while I do it, and I'm going to still have to survive in that time. If I said that to my friends and family or whoever, no one would bat an eyelid. They'd be like, oh, good, great, good for you. Like, yes, off you go. But if I say to somebody, I want to spend a couple $100 or a couple $1,000 on a course, they're like, oh, it must be a scam. And I'm like, we are so ingrained in our brains to believe that we are supposed to go off and do that thing, and we can't even earn money on it for 8-10 years down the track. And when we do, we spend the most of it paying off the debt. We don't actually ever get ahead. And it's like, that's why this was a no-brainer for me. I'm like, I can start earning this money back straight away. I can learn and earn, and everything was there in the education. It was like, it's, you go through it step by step, and it was so great that I was just like, this is just here and I can start doing it today.
Yeah.
And when people say that to me, I'm like, no one would bat an eyelid if I said I was going to go back to university.
No, they would.
But then when people are like, oh, you're involved in, yeah. So yeah, I just say to people, yeah, you wouldn't care if I'd said that I was going to do that, but because I bought some course on the internet, I must be doing something wrong.
Yeah. So talk to us a little bit about how have you tuned out some of the, clearly you need to set some boundaries just like we all do. You have had to set, you are going to continue to need to set some boundaries with, and it's hard because I would assume as a single mom, if you have, if you're blessed enough to have family to help out with your kids, you don't want to lose them, but you also don't really want their opinions about the things that you're doing, because if they had great wisdom and advice, they would have gave it to you and you wouldn't be in the situation that you are, right? Yeah. All of us have broke family and friends who want to be our financial advisors, and they've got something to say, they've got advice. So how are you navigating, like decreasing the size of your inner circle and protecting your eyes and ears from the negative feedback and input and opinions of friends and family? God bless them, but they have negative opinions.
Absolutely. Look, I would probably say for me that I've got an amazing group of friends and family. Like, my friends are my family. I've got a great family. I'm very, very lucky in that sense. The people that I was probably closest to and who I did tell that I was starting this, they're actually extremely intelligent human beings. They have degrees, masters in business or masters in marketing or whatever. And my boss at my previous job, she's one of my best mates, and she was one of the first people that I told. And all of those people had my back from the get-go. They were all like, yep, this sounds like a great idea. And I was really grateful that that's the response that I got. I knew my family, they were the same. They were like, this sounds, you know, like a good opportunity. So I had a lot of encouragement, which was really good. But there were people sort of on the outer edges that were like, what's Georgia doing? Like, is she doing like some network marketing? Like, what's she going to sell to us type thing? And at first I was really nervous about launching my stuff. And then I think when I got to the point of launching, I was just like, if I'm going to do this, I just need to own it. I need to own it. And if it's going to work, I need to go all in. I understand what I'm doing. Like, my biggest supporters are my most intelligent friends who understand all of these things that I didn't understand, that they were all saying, go for it. You could do this. And they all have my back. You know, my boss, she's my best friend. She's an extremely intelligent human being. And I was at work sitting beside her the day I got my first commission, and it popped up on my screen, and I was like, what? And then another one popped up. I was like, she's like, what? And she was just as excited as I was, you know? And I feel so grateful that I had that. But I think probably the most of the naysayers, they come from the internet. And for me, that's an opportunity to educate. You know, it's an opportunity to say to those people, like, if people are engaging in a friendly manner, or, you know, even in an okay manner, I will use it as an opportunity to engage, communicate, educate, to see if, you know, we can kind of have an understanding. If it goes beyond that, I'm like, I'm not interested. Like, if it's not for you, it's not for you, and that's fine. And I think that's what I do. I just block out that. I'm like, you don't need to understand. You don't have to do it. It's if it's not what you want to do, then don't do it. It's totally fine. And I think that was where I just put on those blinkers, and I'm like, I'm just going to own this. I'm going to go 100% all in and go forward. And if I am going to be successful and go 100% in, I just need to own it. And so that's what I did pretty much from the get-go.
I love that. And I love that you said my most intelligent friends get it and support me, because
100%.
it's so true. It's like you may have a best friend, or you all may have friends that you're close to, but they may not be that smart. And I'm just saying it like it is. You know, I mean, I'm just saying it like it is. It's just, you may have, and we all know, I was talking about this with somebody last night. It's like, we know who to go to get certain sort of support.
Yes.
Like, if you want like somebody to co-sign your bad decisions, you know which friend to go to. If you want somebody to go out and get drunk and sloppy because they don't have any responsibilities, and they're just going to like go out and just be their worst self with you because you need a night like that, you know who to call. If you need good, solid, like you need somebody to really give you some clear wisdom, and like, you know who to call. Like, we all have like different kinds of friends. You can go through and you can kind of choose what type of support you want. And I think it's important for us to start to, as we're going to start this journey as entrepreneurs, really, really think about what kind of support do I want? Like, what does make me feel loved and supported? And maybe feedback is not the thing that makes me feel loved and supported. Maybe just somebody listening and saying, I believe in you. You can trust yourself. You can trust yourself. You make good decisions. I don't know what's best for you, but I trust that you know what's best for you. Like, sometimes we can also instruct people on how to support us. We don't always have to just sit back and just be like hand somebody something and be like, oh, I wonder what they're going to do. Like, if somebody's really our friend, if they're really somebody who loves us, of course, even spouses or family members, we can say, look, I'm going to tell you about something I'm starting, and here's how I would prefer that you support me. Like, you don't know a lot about what I'm going to do, so your opinions may not be the most useful for me, but what is important to me from you is me to hear you say that you love me, that you're proud of me, that you believe in me. I need somebody to believe in me right now, because surely I'm struggling with my own self-doubt. I need you to give me a hug. I need you to hold me. I need you to, kiss my forehead, whatever it is, right? Yeah. Like, whatever it is, part of being a responsible, independent person, adult, is that we need to identify what our needs are. And then we need to ask for our needs from our partners, from our friends, from our family. And you know what? If we ask for something that's completely reasonable and we don't get it, or that person is incapable of giving that to us, then we need to then make a decision as to why we have this, or allowing this person to stay close in our lives. Maybe we need to move that person to the outer circle. Maybe that person is not a friend, they're actually an acquaintance. They're actually just somebody that we know. And that can go for friends and family members. Just because they're
absolutely.
We owe them our time, or that we owe them explanations of things. What's coming up for you as I say this?
So, for me, it's like, I do just think I probably created a really good circle around me a long time ago, for a lot of reasons, I guess, being a single mom and all sorts of different things. And I've had to put the blinkers on with certain things and boundaries and stuff. And I do have really amazing, wonderful people around me who do a wide range of things. And I got a lot of support, and I think that I probably knew that I would. And then, the people that didn't really understand it might have been the people who were a bit iffy about it. But when I sat down and had a conversation, not that I need to explain myself, and I don't feel like I do, but if someone asks me the question, they're at the end, they're like, oh, yeah, okay, cool. Like, I've had really positive feedback on it all. And for anybody who I don't feel like I'm going to get positive feedback from, or like you said, like, I don't care. This is what I'm doing. Like, I don't even have that conversation with that person. That's okay. We can still be friends. You do your thing, I do my thing. But I just, it was all just about owning it, going all in. Like I said, like, once I bought the education and I just started, it was like, if you're going to do this, you're going to do it properly. And I just got that kind of tunnel vision on, this is where I'm going. And it's been great. I've loved every second. I've learned so much. Not just what I've learned in the education, but what I've learned about myself and how I've grown as a human, and my confidence, and how I will do things going forward for the rest of my life. Like, this will change how I move forward for the rest of my life, no matter what I end up doing. However it ends up going, I will always view things from a different perspective. And that's been the biggest thing for me, I think.
Tell us what you have learned or been reminded of about yourself through this journey. What are the takeaways? What do you now know about Georgia? What are you now sure about Georgia that you may not have been completely sure about, or you may have doubted before, you may have wondered about yourself? Talk to us about that piece.
I think the biggest thing is that, like, I'm capable. I grew up being like, quite academic, did really well at school. I was really good at sport. I always felt like I could have done whatever I put my mind to. I always felt like that. I felt confident and in that way. But when I started struggling with my health issues, I felt like I had all that taken away. So for years, like, I felt, hopeless and useless and, like, not capable of being able to do the things that I want to do or need to do to get ahead. Or, like, I feel like I had to give up on so many dreams that I had. And all of this has reminded me that I am capable and I can do it, and I am powerful and I am intelligent, and anything I put my mind to that I believe in, I can absolutely do it. And every day as I go forward, we all have our moments of self-doubt and questioning. And I mean, that's why I love listening to Wake Up Legendary, is because it reminds me that we all have those moments. It's not all highs. It's, it's a little step forward. It's a little step forward here and a little step forward there. And I had a bit of a big win last week. And then I was like, oh, I can do this. And then the next minute I got an email from Dave Sharpe being like, we want you on Wake Up Legendary. And I was like, what? Okay. So it's like, they just come little bit by little bit by little bit. The wins, they keep coming because I'm being consistent. I keep coming back. I keep putting in the effort. And it's going to take, things take time. Good things take time.
Mm.
And yeah, I think I've come back to realizing, my own worth, my confidence, my value, what I have to offer. I get so much feedback from people being, you're such an inspiration. Like, you've really helped me, and that means the world to me.
Yeah.
And if I'm helping someone else, then that's fantastic.
Sometimes I find that
Yeah.
we're just in the wrong sport, like you ever
Yeah.
just been tried something and then
Yeah.
sucked at it and you're like, "Oh my God, I'm the worst." But
Yeah,
then
I
you go
do.
and then you go try something else. Like maybe you tried
Yeah.
sports, but then you realized you were a really good cook, or you tried,
Yeah.
you tried basketball and sucked, and then you went to baseball and you were just amazing, right? It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
sometimes we're just in the wrong sport. Like
Yeah.
I'm using that as
Yeah.
a metaphor. And like
Yeah.
for a lot of us, like we don't realize that the game is like the normal society game is like already stacked against us. Like
Yeah.
what the government wants, which has laid the groundwork for all of our societies, is they don't want people really thinking for themselves.
No.
Only enough to create enough big corporations so like there's a thriving economy. But for the most part, like society, powerful people in the past, kings, queens, rulers, governments, etc., don't want nations full of wildly inspired people
No.
who are free and know their worth. Most corporations don't want that either, because
No.
if you know your worth and you know how smart you are and how capable you are and how powerful you are, then they're not going to have you sticking around doing their shitty little grunt work that they're paying you
Yep.
peanuts for, you
Yep.
know. So we have to understand that the game that we're playing in some ways is rigged against us,
Yeah.
and we may suck at taking orders. Like for a lot of people, taking orders, answering to somebody for every single minute of what you're doing every day, going into their buildings, sitting at their
Mm.
desk in their cubicles, hanging out in their lunchroom. It's not the sport that you're really born to thrive in, right?
No.
And so you
Yeah.
come over here to this entrepreneur game inside of this supportive community, and you it's a completely different process. It's not a 4-year journey, it's like a 4-week journey.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not 250,000, it's $7. And if you want to go all in and get
Yeah.
crazy serious, you can drop a few $1,000s and be all in, you
Yeah.
have every damn
Yeah.
all the freaking support for an unlimited time, as much as you need, unlimited episodes of, you're the 810th guest or something, you can go back. You people, you won't be able to listen to all the stories on Wake Up Legendary before
No.
we have another 30 or 40 lined up ready for you to listen to. I mean, it's just this is a place to where maybe, just maybe, you can thrive. And in Georgia, you've clearly laid that out and are explaining
Yeah.
that. But for the
Yeah.
rest of you who are listening in, maybe, just maybe, the game that you've been playing up until this point is not your sport. And oh, by the way, it's sort of like playing a game where the catcher is listening. Remember how some teams cheat and it's rigged against you.
Yeah.
So it's not
Yeah.
even like you can win anyways. It's like,
No.
so now all of a sudden we're frustrated, we're failing, we're feeling less than, we're feeling like we're not good enough. And the whole time we never even had a shot from the beginning, especially if we go back and we think about the college grooming and the credit card predatory lending that started happening when we were 18 friends. It's time, literally, not to be, corny and cliche, but to unplug from the matrix and take
Yeah.
a step back and actually realize your worth,
Yeah.
realize how capable you are, realize how creative and powerful. A lot of you come in and you say, well, I'm stuck, I'm struggling, I can't come up with ideas. Well, it's because you ain't had your brain thinking of ideas and used critical thinking skills. You've had somebody else telling you what to do for years. And when you brought ideas to the boss, they said, we don't want to hear your ideas.
Mm.
Just
Yep.
do your job. So it's time to get out that metaphorical WD-40 and get that brain loosened up. I mean, really get some grease in there, get some grease in that heart. Sometimes our heart gets cold and icy because we're living in this cold society of where we are just a number. Well, it's time to unplug from that and start, instead of working for corporations, work within communities.
Yes. Yes. The community part has been huge for me. I jump online all the time, and, you know, you see the same names pop up, and I always know that I always know that there's somebody there I can talk to if I need help, or, you know, if I need advice or direction. And everybody's going through the same stuff. You know, a lot of people say to me, oh, you know, you're such a natural in your content. I'm like, have you seen my first videos? They were terrible. I was like,
exactly.
It takes practice. Everything takes time and practice. And even now, like, you know, there was a period of time where I got really, really busy for work and I wasn't making the best content at that time. And even when I came back to it, I was like, oh my God, like, can I do this again? And I had to sort of it's like, you know, riding a bike. You start riding the bike and you're like, oh yeah, I know how to ride a bike. And it comes and you get better over time. Like, everybody just thinks that, you know, I jumped on camera one day and I was good at it. I definitely was not. I cannot even take a good selfie. My first videos were terrible. If you listen to them, I sound meek and quiet. And now I'm just like, you know what? Like, if someone doesn't like me, don't watch me. But if I can engage authentically with someone, then, you know, that's great. That's the whole aim of it. And I get it. Like, it is hard at first, but all of it takes time and practice. And like you said, community, the learning, all those things.
What the hell is not hard that's worth it? You know what I mean? I mean, think
Absolutely.
about your wonderful son. I mean, how freaking hard has it been to raise him? And the kid's the best thing that ever happened to this life.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's like,
that's right.
Nothing wonderful, nothing beautiful, nothing worthwhile is handed to you, because if it was handed to you, you wouldn't value it.
You wouldn't value it. That's right.
What we all value is the journey getting there. It's not finally, you know what the destination for all of us is? A casket, a freaking casket.
Yeah. Oh my God, no one gets out alive, Dave.
That's the destination for everything. It's a casket, okay? So if you're waiting for the destination, my friends, you're going to be so disappointed. You're going to be so disappointed when you're finally whatever age you are, and it's your time to go, and it's like, shit, you know, damn it, time's up. You know, I didn't enjoy the journey. Is the grind, the hustle, striving, working through things, the tension, that tension, pressure creates growth. It creates diamonds. And if you ever want to shine bright like a diamond, you have to put a little pressure on yourself.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
absolutely.
You have to really embrace the journey and the struggle, and realize that maybe you're addicted to struggling addicted to the wrong struggle. The wrong struggle is complaining, victim stancing, acting like you're the only one who has problems, acting like you're the only one who it was hard to get up and go to work today, or acting like there's 8 billion people in this world. Whenever I hear somebody complaining about their life, I start thinking about kids who don't even have clean water to drink, who are still grateful. I start thinking about people in some of these countries who are so skinny, their bones are showing. I think about people who are eating out of garbage cans. I think about junkies who can't stop sticking needles in their arms. I think about people who are living under bridges and on Skid Row. I think about people who are in abusive relationships. I think about kids who are abused. And I say, if you really knew the problems that some people are going through, you would gladly take your problems back off the table and you would be great for them. That's being addicted to the wrong struggle. Now, being addicted to the right struggle is saying, look, life ain't easy. It's hard, but the challenges are my challenges. These are the challenges that God gave me. These are the challenges that the universe gave me. They're my just like your son, Harry. That's your precious little challenge. That's your precious, sweet little assignment. And each one of you, your kids, your car, your house, your clothes, your life, where you live, the challenges, that's your precious little assignment. That is what the universe, what God gave you to be responsible for. Stop complaining about it. You're not a victim. There's 8 billion people in this world. And there's billions of people who have it harder than each one of us. The fact that we're sitting here on freaking Facebook, you are on that tells me that you likely have a phone, you have internet service, you have a house. There's not a lot of people who are sitting under bridges that are watching Wake Up Legendary, who are going through a 50-day challenge. So if you're a part of our Facebook group, that tells me you have a phone, you have Wi-Fi, you have a house, you likely have furniture. You're not sitting, you have everything that somebody would die for.
Absolutely.
There's no sense in complaining about that, but embrace it and say, this is my little sweet, precious assignment that God gave me. And I'm going to be a great steward of this assignment. I'm going to then, when I get the money, because first I'm going to become the person, and then I'm going to attract the money. And when I get that money, I'm also going to be a great steward of that money. I'm going to spend it wisely. I'm going to save it wisely. I'm going to be grateful for every little win along the way, whether it's my first subscriber, my first follower. I see people who they say, I only got 200 views on my videos. It's like you got 200 people who are listening to you. I can tell you, when I first got started, I was just coming off of being homeless. I couldn't even get somebody to make eye contact with me. One person. I mean, they wouldn't even want to look at me. I would drive around I was doing network marketing back in 2008 when I got clean, and I put a magnet on the side of my truck. I was going to drive around town, and I was going to be advertising. People would not even make eye contact with me, let alone 200 people watching a video. So if you have 2 views, if you have 20 views, if you have 200 views, if you have 200,000 views, be grateful for every single one of those views, because it's a blessing. It's your sweet little precious assignment. Don't screw it up. I'm done.
I loved it. I could sit here and listen to that all day. It's great. It's been a great ride for me so far. And as you said, every little win for me is a big win. And I'm so grateful for what I've learned, the community that I'm part of. I'm so grateful for my beautiful child who, pushed me in this direction. Everybody who's been so supportive, and I'm still learning too, but that's the thing, right? We're students of life. Like, we're always going to be learning. And that's where it's like you said, like at the end, we all end up in the same place. We don't grow as humans, as people, if we're not challenging ourselves. And I knew, I challenge myself every day on little things. It's like, if you want to move forward, you have to face the fear. Everything that's worth doing is scary, right? Because if you weren't scared of it, then it wouldn't be, it was a dust. If you weren't scared of it, then it's easy. And if it's easy, you can just do it at the drop of a hat.
Anybody.
But every little fear is an opportunity to grow and to be better or do better or think a different way, or challenging myself. One of my best girlfriends, she always just says, like, feel the fear and do it anyway. It's like, and that's how you grow as humans. It's like, we can't just sit back and hope, life's going to be easy and stuff for us just because we choose easy all the time. If we choose easy all the time, we don't grow. And that's when it gets hard. We only get one life. Like, it's so cliched. We get one life, and you want to make the most of your time that you have, doing the best that you can with the tools that you've been given. And I definitely think that, this has been an awesome opportunity for me. And I just want to keep learning, keep growing. And who knows, the sky's the limit. Like, I just think, what have I got to lose? I've got nothing to lose. And so yeah, it's actually been a really awesome journey for me. And it's only been 6 months.
Right.
Like, but how far can I go?
Your journey in terms of what it's going to be right now, it is a freckle on the pimple of a gnat's
Yeah.
ass.
Yeah.
You're an infant. You're actually
Yeah.
not even born yet. You're still a fetus.
I mean, it's still in the womb.
You're still we're actually not even talking to you right now. You're actually
No,
this is
yeah.
an AI hologram of what you're going to look like when you're actually an adult. You're still a fetus in this process.
I am.
Look,
Yeah.
Georgia, this looks beautiful on you. You're a wonderful, amazing human being. You and your son, of course, my absolute heart and love goes out to him.
Thank you.
In both of you together as a family unit. I can't wait to talk to you again. Can't wait to have you back on the show.
Same.
To continue to see your journey prosper. Stay legendary, my friend. And
You stay legendary.
I will.
Thank you, Dave. I've really appreciated the opportunity. I've loved having this chat. Yeah, it's been great. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
All right, my friends, there you have it. Grow_with_Georgia. Okay, grow with Georgia, underscore between the two words. My friends, wow. I mean, I'm fired up. I am fired up. Fired up, my friends. I'm actually about to go run around the block. My neighbors are going to be looking at me like, what the hell's wrong with this guy? I mean, does this guy even have a job? A job? I got a life. I don't have a job. I don't have time for a job. I have a life. This is my life. This is the life that I love to live every single day, talking about entrepreneurship, building businesses, talking to people just like Georgia. What a powerful, inspirational story. What a powerful, unbelievable, amazing, unprecedented story this morning. And just to think that just a short while ago, she was walking around listening to Wake Up Legendary going, wow, that'd be cool to be on the show one day. And then she comes on and absolutely crushes it. My friends, have a wonderful day. Stay beautiful. Stay legendary. We'll see you back here tomorrow, as always, for another episode. Get out of here. Peace.